What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and I just saw the first UFC fight card of 2025, and it delivered. It was incredible. There's a lot of finishes on the main card, and in this video we're just gonna break it down and basically just recap it. And I made a video basically giving my predictions for the main card, and I believe I had like 4 fights correct on there, and then 2 fights being wrong. Those 2 fights were the first fight. Wait, was it the first fight? I think it was, I'm not sure, but it was Euros Medic versus Puna James Serrano. And Puna Serrano, he delivered. He knocked out Euros Medic in the first round. I was not expecting that. I was expecting him to grapple in this one because Medic is an incredible striker, great kickboxer. But that just shows that, Puna is like a dangerous opponent and a dangerous fighter in the welterweight division. He didn't really cut that much weight when he was in midweight, but now he's got his weight under control and he's a proper size welterweight, and he can't be a problem in this weight class. That was very impressive. He was able to catch his opponent as Medic went for a naked body shot, and on the retraction, he didn't bring his hand back up to his face. He just kind of backed up and he got caught, and that was a great first round knockout, and that just set the tone for the rest of the main card. Then we had Christian Rodriguez versus Austin Bashi, and I said that Christian Rodriguez was going to win this fight. I thought that he was going to be very good and very calculated in this one, and I felt like his opponent, Austin Bashi, just used a lot of energy and didn't really get it back. His efforts didn't really pay off in this fight, and Christian Rodriguez just showed that the UFC is on a different level, and he just stayed calm and composed out there, and he did what he needed to do, and he showed that sometimes simplicity is key. You don't always need to just do all these crazy things. Just keep it simple, don't get too aggressive, and eventually you'll find your shots and you'll get the victory. Then we had Chris Curtis versus Roman Kopylov, and I predicted Kopylov to win, and he actually knocked out Chris Curtis. And I've seen some people online say it was a bit of an early stoppage, but to be honest, I don't really care that it was or wasn't an early stoppage, because there's 1 second left in the fight. So it's not like, oh, Chris Curtis could have maybe came back into the fight. It doesn't matter. And Chris Curtis was not winning that fight. He was getting beat up. And at one point, I think Dominic Cruz said on the commentary team that Chris Curtis is like Sean Strickland and he's pretty hard to hit. And I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I've seen Chris Curtis get hit clean in nearly all his UFC fights. He just has a high guard and he's very durable. But eventually, we've seen Max Holloway get knocked out. We've seen Francis Ngannou get knocked out. You can't just rely on your durability and your toughness in MMA. And Kopylov just showed that you can't just rely on that. You got to have multiple layers to your defense. Your durability should actually be the last layer of your defense. But Chris Curtis, he didn't really implement that philosophy into his game, and he paid the price by getting knocked out. Then we had Cesar Almeida versus Abdulrazak Alhassan, and I thought Cesar Almeida was going to win this one by decision, and he ends up knocking out Abdulrazak Alhassan in a pretty entertaining fight, because early on it's a bit slow, but then eventually Razak Alhassan, he hits him with a massive right hand that drops Cesar Almeida, and it looks like Almeida is going to get knocked out, but he knocks the hell out of Abdulrazak Alhassan with a nasty left hook, and he stiffened up Abdulrazak Alhassan. It was really one of those scary KOs. It's sometimes in MMA you want to see guys get knocked out, right? But that's the type of knockout you don't want to see, because it's yo, is he okay? What the hell is going on? But Cesar Almeida is a fun midweight to watch, and I can't wait to see more of his fights. Maybe he gets the loser of Shire Bullet versus MVP for another fun striking matchup. Who knows? But then we had the co-main event. It was Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Carlson Harrison. This was actually a pretty fun fight. Early on in the fight, it seemed like Carlson Harris was potentially going to get finished over Santiago in the first round. He was landing a lot of clean shots, a lot of body shots. But then, Santiago, the veteran that he is, he's able to take round 2 to recover. And then he comes back in round 3 and he really puts it on Carlson Harris, and he drops him multiple times. And eventually the referee has nothing else to do but stop the fight. And that was a great performance from Ponzinibbio. Then we had the main event, Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas. And early on, they're having some grappling exchanges in round 1 and 2. But I felt like Mackenzie Dern was getting the better of those exchanges. She was like cutting up Amanda Ribas, like nearly getting submissions. And then in round 3, she was able to get a nice armbar, and she's improved a lot since that first fight that she had. And it was a nice ending to the first event of UFC 2025.